Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of D-List Diaries. We have another exciting guest for you today. Please welcome Emily from Married at First Sight season 17 to the
Woo!
podcast.
Hey,
Woo!
Emily.
Hi,
Hey,
Emily.
gals. Hey.
Welcome.
Thanks for having me. Well, one, I was like hoping I got asked. And two, I feel like I just haven't seen you guys or caught up with you guys, so I'm excited.
Of course, we asked you. I've been telling you from the start you would be on it, but we had to wait for the right time, and now seems to be the perfect time because your season just dropped on Netflix.
Sure was a surprise, yes. I actually woke up from a text from Madison actually yesterday, and she's like, "You're on Netflix." Madison from Chicago. And I was like, "What?" So yeah, I was very unprepared for that. But I guess better late than never. Let's get round two on the road.
Yeah. Well, we will tell you, as people who have been in your shoes, that it kind of feels like it dies down and then Netflix comes and it's a whole new wave of the bullshit, but then it dies down again and you'll be fine in about a month.
Yeah, you'll be totally fine. I said I feel like it was a faster die down with the Netflix.
So many things have happened, and I obviously rewatched it like when it was happening a bunch of times, like dissect the episodes. But I feel like as life events happen, and each time I rewatch it, like it's different. And I think this time will for sure be like the most different viewing per se that I've experienced. 'Cause I am gonna watch it from the beginning with no commercials. It's a lot better.
Yeah, it is a lot better. And you could fast forward if you don't care about the other couples.
That's what I used to do.
All right, well, let's get into it. Let's start at the very beginning. What made you decide to marry a stranger, especially as someone who had never really been in a long term relationship prior?
The whole opportunity came out of the blue. I got reached out to on LinkedIn, which was alarming because I had like a very butchered headshot at the time. Someone just reached out like, "Are you single in Denver?" And I was like, "Yeah." And she said, "Whatever, I'm recruiting for Married at First Sight." I've like never heard of the show. I watch a lot of TV and movies, but I'm just not like a reality TV girl. It came at a time in my life where I like needed a shakeup, and I just kind of had an intuition from the beginning that like this was going to happen. I watched an episode with my friend. She's like, "Fuck it, just do it." I was like, "Yeah, I won't
Yeah.
get it." But it came at a good time in my life. And obviously, being single like my whole life, I was like, this is a better chance for me to find someone than like current dating situation. Like, this is great. Free matchmaking. Like, why wouldn't I do it? And I'm sure you guys probably like thought the same. Like if you didn't do it, probably would have been the like what if your whole life. And I don't think a lot of people just have this sort of unique opportunity. So I was like, I mean, all the odds are kind of in my favor. Let's see what happens. So I was like, I don't know. I just feel like this is all making sense. Like this is happening in Denver. It's kind of like why I moved to Denver. So yeah, all the signs were just pointing to this is happening for a reason, essentially.
Okay. I mean, that's a good reason to do it, if any.
Yeah. It's more about the dating though, because like I just don't like to date. I don't do the online dating apps. I'm just a very firm believer that when it happens, it happens. I'm pretty social. I feel like organically is probably how I ideally would like it to happen, but obviously it wasn't working leading up to that point.
And it's always a good chance to take because you never know what could happen. And now it gives you a good story to tell on future dates. So you still got
Yeah.
something out of it.
Yes.
We know that your relationship or your marriage to Brennan obviously did not go well, but tell us day one, wedding day. Do you think, knowing what you knew just on the wedding day, that the experts did pair you with someone that you wanted to be matched with? Or you think they did a good job there?
Yeah, honestly, like I was shocked. We rewatched, my mom's visiting me, we rewatched the wedding episode last night, and I think you can like see it in all my emotions, and I'm smiling the whole time. Like I just was so shook at the venue. Like I thought it was so beautiful. I like didn't know what to anticipate. I didn't even know I was like walking in to get married. They were just like shuffling us around. It was like 2 degrees outside, which was great for me because I'm a sweater. And so I thrived in that temperature. But looks wise, like the experts definitely matched me with my high level description of like a type per se. And I think it really came down to I didn't think I'd get matched because I'm a conservative. And so Denver's like not it for conservatives. So I think also too we immediately like connected on the value piece and like realized that a lot of the values, more like important big pieces that we also asked the experts for outside of looks also was a good match.
Well, I mean, that's obviously the first few things that you ask, and those are the looks and the core values, I feel like, are the main things that you want to get right. So, did you have any indication on the wedding day that he maybe wasn't as into it?
So there's a backstory to me technically knowing I was matched with Brennan before the wedding.
I had that.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
My best guy friend in Chicago, after his time I got matched, he sent me like one of his Instagram pictures. And he's like, I think this is your dude. And I'm like, don't ruin it. I don't want to look. But then I was like, wait, this is him? Like, I don't know. I wasn't really expecting someone actually being really good looking. I just kind of assumed it would go the other way. But I was like, I don't want to get my hopes up. I want to be surprised. And you know, guys' Instagram pictures, like they either look kind of busted and not them, or they look better and like not them. So it was one of those, like, he definitely looked better. So when I saw him, it kind of like I had a flashback. But I also, I think, blacked out walking down the aisle because I was nervous. But I think I was just so happy with what I saw that the whole ceremony was just, it just felt like easy and natural. And like our family as friends really merged. And yeah, we had a really fun wedding. We had donkeys.
You had donkeys?
We had donkeys, yeah. Poor donkeys did not want to come into the venue.
They just hang out at the venue, or they had the donkeys come in for you guys?
They just said, like, we have donkeys, it's snowing. And these donkeys
You're
didn't
like, we
want to
don't
come in.
know.
So we're like dragging these donkeys.
What?
It was cool. I mean, we had the coolest one, I would say, of the other couples, but it was very random. Like, I didn't ask for donkeys, you know?
Can you elaborate a little bit more? Because you said your friend from Chicago sent you a picture and was like, this is the guy. So can you elaborate on that? Like, who is this friend? How does he know this is the guy?
So I think his now wife had a friend who knew Brennan, who then sent it to my guy friend.
So he knew Brennan? Like, they knew Brennan, and then they knew he was going on the show?
Yeah, they just had like a picture from her friend.
It is such a small world.
I know, it really is. And that's like, I had a little like, ooh, I didn't really plan this scenario that like he might be very good looking or this really actually might work.
I saw the photo before of my
Like,
match.
how?
I Googled it because we lived in the same apartment building. They were doing like the apartment visits and they did ours back to back. And so I was like, why is the camera crew here again?
Wow, they couldn't be a little more discreet.
Yeah, it was the same producers because, you know, at the time, you don't realize that your producer is also their producer.
Yeah.
I saw my producer and was like, oh, you know, what are you doing here? And she's like, oh, we're just getting footage of the building, like being really sketch. So we had gone up in the gym that overlooks where they were parked. And I watched them walk in and out of the building for like hours. And I went downstairs and asked our valet guy what they were doing. And he was like, they're interviewing some old guy upstairs for a TV show. And I was like, how old? Like, how old? He's like in his 40s. And I was like, okay, perfect. Like right up my alley. I was like, well, do you know his name? And he was just like, yeah, it's Clint Webb. I was like, oh, wow.
Did you know like what he looked like?
So I Googled, yeah, and I saw his LinkedIn photo, which was also, it was okay. I wouldn't say it was busted.
It was old.
It was old for sure.
I would love to see an old Clint.
We'll have to send you one. Opposite of Emily, which is funny because it's almost like you saw this photo and I bet you were like, oh, he is cute. Like, I hope he's my match. I had the opposite. I was like, oh, this definitely isn't my match.
I would just be like, if he's in my building, there's just no way. Like, that's too obvious.
Yeah, I was like, this isn't mine. Like, maybe he's just going on the show. But then the night before, my hairstylist at the time that was working for me did hair for the wedding. And she called me and was like, hey, this producer said that tomorrow the weddings are, one was an interracial couple, and then, which it wasn't, it was Jasmine. So they were wrong. And then the other ones live in the same apartment building. So that like solidified for me the night before.
When you Googled him, what was your first like gut tingle? If there was one, or were you like, oh, fuck?
Yeah, there wasn't one of those. But I didn't think he was bad looking.
He needs to come back and get groomed again.
We're getting off track.
But yeah, we had similar stories. I found out
Yeah.
before too. So I thought I was the only one.
Yeah, I like really think did a good job of erasing it from my memory. I mean, like, he met like my standard. I wouldn't say he was like, oh my God, like he's so my type, he's so hot. But I was like, okay, this is pretty fucking good considering the circumstances. And like, I've always been more of a personality person. I was like, okay, like I can work with this look, but like, let's see what the personality brings.
It seemed to us like you guys were getting along really well at the wedding.
Yeah.
Are you able to pinpoint a moment where you feel like things went awry? Because for us watching, it was absolutely the honeymoon.
Yeah, I truly was like, holy shit, like this might work. It was like a magical wedding night and we were like super kissy and he like initiated all the making out that night and I could just tell he was into me. And then I actually, now looking back and seeing all the shit talking that my ex-best friends did, I actually do think my ex-best friend Lily like said something to him like at the wedding that I was like a slut, basically like one night stand stuff. Even though I was like, there's no way. He's definitely making that up. But now I wouldn't put it past either of them. One, him to like believe it and like go from there and basically write me off immediately. And then definitely now can see Lily saying that. So I think something did occur at the wedding between my friends and him, giving him maybe a little hesitation, I guess. And then you guys saw it and were as confused as I was after the honeymoon because it was like a 180 flip. And I was like, what the fuck? Now that I had time to reflect and kind of like pull pieces together, I think the do you like to have fun thing definitely started a little bit of like, I don't know how to explain it. I think he didn't think I was like gonna start catching on to him, like slowly starting to like have red flag behavior. Like he started yelling at me like in group settings. He was very like controlling about what we can and can't say on camera. And I think when I started like poking fun, like we obviously saw his ego is like very, very fragile. And looking back and thinking through everything, I think it was the last night of the honeymoon where I finally like had to sit him down to be like, too many red flags. I was like, look, I don't want to get in a fight our last night, but you keep saying how much you care about you, us, me, but it seems like it's kind of just always about you. And it like started what I didn't know was coming for like a long time. His little like temper tantrum.
So wait, you said this because we didn't see that. So
Yeah.
you sat down and had this conversation with him. What was his reaction to that? Was he open to this feedback?
No, I'm not open to feedback. And he made me seem like it was okay. Then I would say like the next big gut milestone was we had to do like an interview that Sunday or whatever. We got back from the honeymoon. I don't know, like I was telling my mom this last night. My intuition's just always great. Like I just had like a bad gut feeling when we got back. He was like just acting weird. He was just throwing a little hissy fit with filming. He's like, I'm so tired. Like, I was like, we're all tired. Like, suck it up. And I started getting annoyed about that too. I was always overcompensating for him being so difficult with producers and everyone about filming. So, like, it's kind of like time for you to pull your side of the weight. I was like, honeymoon's over. I let some stuff slide. That interview day, I was like spiraling, venting to my producer. And I was like, this motherfucker is gonna write me off. And like, I just know he's has it set in his mind that this is now not going to go anywhere for some reason. And it was Super Bowl Sunday. I just have this day ingrained in my brain. And I went to his house after this interview. Cause like my anxiety was just like, I was like, I just need to like confront him to just figure out what the fuck's happening because something is like very wrong. So I went to his house and confronted him and was like, what happened? What is going on? Like it seemed, and you told me like you really liked me, and now it seems like you're being weird and kind of writing us off from like the very beginning. Because then he was hesitant about moving in. I'm just like, what the fuck happened? We were so excited, had plans to go to Costco, like had all these playing house plans, and then he did that 180, and he's like, I just don't know. Like I keep going back and forth. Feels like I just don't know if the spark is there. And I'm like, dude, this has been like 5 days. We just gotta like let things play out. And I'm like, also not moving in together is not helping the situation. And I was like, don't compare ourselves to other couples. Like everyone's gonna do their own thing. I just like didn't get what happened.
So did you ever talk to your best friend about the conversation that she had with him?
No, because our friendship kind of ended abruptly because there were like many bad things that happened with her and people in the cast, whatever. I definitely didn't because I didn't believe it for like a really long time. Even like when we weren't friends right after, I was like, they wouldn't say that about me. The more I keep finding out the toxic shit she was doing behind my back, I'm like, this actually does seem like that probably happened.
So were these accusations that Brennan had told you, like she had said, like this, I missed this part. So did it come out on the reunion that she had said things, or when did you finally piece that together?
The reunion. I think someone asked him, like, when did it flip? Or I don't know, the same question everyone asked, like, what happened?
So he kind of turned off after that point.
He was
Yeah.
like, it started at the wedding, like when Emily's friend basically said she like has one night stands.
Oh, and the drink. He said something about, I think it was drinking.
Yeah,
Like there was a lot of
that
drinking or
too.
something.
Yeah. And I was like, that's, I don't know. I just didn't think it would, like, it's such a shitty thing for a friend to do.
And obviously, we'll never know what really happened, but it did feel very obvious that there was a shift.
We literally made made out the whole honeymoon. He's like, we kissed one time. I'm like, okay, like I'm not crazy. I'm not making it up in my head that it was such a flip considering we looked like the golden couple on the honeymoon compared to the others.
I mean, your season was not that great with the
I
couple, so
know.
I wouldn't say that's really
I
a
know,
high
like the
bar.
bar is very low or in hell.
I feel like that's like the make or break it time though, because truly, like on my honeymoon, I don't know if Clint and I both had this shift, but we were like super into it too. Like we were kissing. I knew I wasn't like, this is my guy, like right when I met him, but I knew there was potential. Like I felt a little bit of an attraction to him. I was like, okay, this could work. Like this guy's really cool. And then I think part of it is you have that alone time on the in between and you really start thinking. You're like, okay, was I just in a wedding? So I was like kind of, playing through it. Like
Yeah,
it's
like the
everything's like beautiful.
adrenaline.
Yeah, you're in the adrenaline. And then when you go to the honeymoon, like Clint and I had a pretty big shift too, because you finally start sitting and you're like, oh, wait, is this reality? And then there's all these cameras, so that's uncomfortable. The shift typically happens like right at the end of the honeymoon. Yeah.
I just knew something shifted with us, but I wasn't losing any attraction on my end or anything, which is another thing that I think I didn't realize is like I was so worried about solving whatever issue was happening that I never actually, I think, sat with what my feelings were in that period. I was so anxious about like feeling the vibes were off. And so I think because I was always still laser focused on trying to fix him, fix us, whatever, I lost sight of what I actually felt the whole time. It just took like a breaking point. I was like, I can't just deal with this shit anymore. But yeah, like I let him initiate everything. I was like, you lead the way with anything sex related. He told me at the wedding, he thought I was like attractive to my parents. I was beautiful, whatever. But I did in the honeymoon try to get him to like verbally state he was physically attracted to me because he just like wouldn't outwardly say it. And then I started realizing like the carrot dangling that was starting to happen. Like you have to earn my trust, like circle of trust, Emily, to like do anything. And my hypothesis, and this is what I think happened. I think when he thought that I was like catching on and started to call him out, he's like, fuck, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to like mass control this girl.
Like he wanted someone a little more follow the leader type.
Oh, he needs like a fucking Stepford wife. Yeah. And we had like this tragic Valentine's Day dinner off camera where I was like, let's just go into this. Like, we really haven't started this process. Because I told him at his house, I was like, so you're telling me right now, like, you're open to this and like you don't have already divorce made up in your mind? He's like, no, I don't. I was like, okay, that's all I ask. So you keep an open mind, keep full speed ahead, like effort, energy, whatever, which didn't obviously end up happening. And the Valentine's Day dinner, he also came in spiraling to that dinner. Didn't let me say one word. Like I was wanted to start with like, how was your day? And he's just like, yeah, like I don't know. I don't think this is gonna work. Basically, like tries to make it like a business dinner right when we sat down. I was like, oh my God, here we go. And he's like, it's just something's missing. Like I've had like a spark with my exes. I was like, okay, well, like, isn't that why you're here? To, like have something different? Like maybe it's a good thing you don't have a spark initially because I'm not like a lot of your exes. Maybe that is a good thing because clearly your exes didn't work out. He's like, yeah, I don't know, maybe that's a good point. I was obviously naive and like thinking and giving him way too much credit that he actually did have an open mind and was trying. But I think what people don't realize is I'm not dumb. I wouldn't stick around if he wasn't manipulating me enough to like really think there was a chance. Like he was there at our shared apartments like the most of any of the guys.
Oh,
We
wow.
were really hardcore playing house, sleeping next to each other. I was like cooking us dinner every night. I was turning in like Stepford Wives vibes. And so like people I don't think get that because they're like so clear, like he despises this girl. And I'm like, no, if you guys only knew how confusing he made it because he really was always around. But I think that's something that people don't see because it's so polarizing on TV. It's like clear to others that wow, he clearly doesn't like this girl, but behind the scenes in real life, he really blurred that line. And it was like a whole other level when I got into my accident.
So you went the entire 8 weeks with an idea that it could potentially work out. Like, was there any point where you realized it wasn't, but you just wanted to finish the process because you were already in it?
Another night after the hot tub night, we got into like a 4 hour. That's the night he deleted or he unplugged the cameras. And I wish all this was on camera because we had like a 4 hour heart to heart. I had to go take a lap. I was like hiding out in the hallways, thinking like, do I walk out and leave this dude? I can't take this any longer. I heard him like pacing in the hallway, and you could tell he was kind of like desperate for me not to be mad at him and to stay. And I asked him that night, which he also denies, which is the last big gut check in before my accident. I was like, So you're telling me you still don't know what you want to do on decision day? And he's like, yeah, I still don't know what I'm gonna like what I want to do. So like he always gave me that false hope that kept me there. Like I definitely had a little delusion happening, but also I'm a smart girl. Like I wouldn't have stuck around if I knew it was like that clear that nothing was gonna happen.
But it's also, it's not about being, it's not that you're not smart. It's just you're married to this man and you've committed to an 8-week process. So I feel like it's very hard to get up and leave unless something has happened or unless he's explicitly saying, there is no way I'm saying yes at decision day. So I hear you saying that a lot. It's not about you not being smart. It's just, I think it's very easy to stay in it.
I've also realized from taking it all in, I think he did take advantage of me, like not being in a relationship. It was my first relationship. So like I didn't know what was normal. I clearly had gut feelings like that doesn't feel normal. And I was like Googling stuff. Your girl doesn't read. And I'm like on the treadmill reading about the attachment theories because I'm trying like everything to figure out what broke, like what the fuck happened. But yeah, a lot of false hope. And like after the accident, it was a whole other level of like brainwash. I was so confused.
Because it seemed like after the accident, from a viewer's perspective, that he was a little more into the relationship from a caregiver perspective.
Everyone was like, whoa, like, who is this Brennan? It was freaky. And even Claire, who was a therapist, is like, I don't even know what's happening between you two. And it's fucked up. Like, he took advantage of that whole situation to like come out of this okay and like really take advantage of me being super vulnerable. Like, it was sad. It's like, oh my God, Brennan wants to spend time with me, even though like I didn't realize how fucked it was. He's making me drive him around to get his new fucking Audi when I looked like the Toy Story doll.
Where were the experts in all of this? Like, I know you were having conversations with them. Were you talking to them off camera? Like, were they helpful at all in this? Because it sounds like someone who has an outside perspective should have been stepping in to be like, Emily, you need to take the rose-colored glasses off, and Brennan, you need to stop leading her on.
Yeah, I feel like you guys can probably like relate. I think that's a fucked up part about reality TV is in a lot of shows and situations, there's toxic stuff happening that people probably should be removed from, but it makes for good TV slash they need content, whatever. So there were times I literally thought he was gonna push me off our building one time when like all the execs were filming and like he like cornered me on our balcony. He would flip out like in front of people. So like I know they knew what was going on. The only one who said I need to leave and get out and like knew what was happening and like everything for what it was my producer. And there was a day where it was my producer and Becca, and I like really didn't know what to do. And my producer was like, I don't give a fuck about my job. You need to leave. Like, this is bad. It was like the night after he said I like wanted to, or I like tried to kill him with the shower curtain. I just like cried the whole next day. And I was like, I literally can't keep, and this, I didn't know I had massive anxiety at the time, but like my anxiety all the time, I couldn't focus on anything. I think just knowing like he could just come home at any time and knowing his like spiraling tantrums and expert visits, like didn't know what I could say. And clearly, if you watch, you saw like Dr. Pia clearly clocked him from the beginning. So one would think she might have like wanted to get me alone at some point. Because that's what I said at reunion. They're like, how could we have done better? I'm like, in a lot of ways. But like Dr. Pia, if you're like asking if I feel safe, probably am not safe. So like, why didn't you ask for like a follow-up just one-on-one with me after to like unpack that? Clearly I feel scared to say shit in front of this demon. And she's like, I did ask for that. And so I was like, okay, so fuck you, production. So who knows?
I mean, they did start doing that on the Chicago season. They did start meeting as more individuals. I don't know. I just feel like they should have stepped in.
But also people had to like baby Brennan to like keep him from not having temper tantrums. Like, and it was so annoying. I'm like, why do I always have to be the mean guy? People knew what to do and what to say to like keep him happy to like get filming accomplished.
Describe a temper tantrum. Was he like screaming audibly, like he almost pushed you off of a balcony kind of situation?
He was like just pace in circles. He'd like throw his little basketball at the wall and he didn't like really yell. He's just like, Emily, it shouldn't be this hard. The night after the 1 month dinner too was really bad and I did slam the door in his face. And that's like the one time he like followed me and was like getting in my face going to the bathroom. He would do this and he'd be like, Emily, 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 you just had to say that. You just had to say that. You were doing fine until you said one thing to like Pastor Cal during an interview. Like I basically would text him after to be like, did I do well? While also still trying to like be transparent to like kind of tell my side of the story. And he would pick to like one thing I said that like ruined the whole 2 hour expert visit. If it's, I said like anything bad about him. So he'd spiral. He'd be like, you just had to say that. Now they're going to think like X, Y, and Z. Brennan also like watched the show and studied the show before coming on. So he was always talking like we're in like a game simulation. They're like, you took the bait, Emily. Like now they're gonna think X and they're only gonna use this in our narrative and that. And I was like, dude, I'm not thinking about any of that. Like, can we just be people? Why are you like overthinking all of this and so focused on production? Like, if you maybe cared 1% about me, like you do production, like maybe we would get somewhere. But he was very, very cautious of his image. I mean, you can see I visibly look uncomfortable, like sitting by him. The people who knew me were like, Emily, what the fuck? Like, we were screaming at the TV. Like, it's so unlike you just sit there. But I was just like scared of him because I knew if I didn't do a good job or like say what he wanted, I would get the repercussions after, which were like, if he was living with me at the time, he's like, I need to go like take a lap and like wouldn't talk to me. Or it'd be like the silent treatment next day. Or it'd be like, I need to go home for 2 days and have space. It was like little punishments.
So did you ever reach out to like friends or family like when you were on the show and experiencing this relationship with him or like to get any advice on how you should handle things?
Honestly, it was the first time in my life I realized I couldn't do it all. It was exhausting, like dealing with him and doing everything that I didn't have the energy to like explain everything because in the next day, like
Hmm.
you know how much can change in 24
Yeah.
hours.
Yes.
And then Lily always like, now I know what.
Lily is the friend that you're not friends with anymore.
Yeah, and she'd always give me like pushback, like making it seem like it's me. I'm like, okay, you're not helping either. So like it's easiest if I just kind of like keep this to me. Because
Mm.
also, I literally didn't realize how anxious I was, but I had like no mental capacity for
Yeah.
anything other than being hyper fixated.
Yeah. Well, we all get that.
Yeah, it's mentally draining.
We get it. Like there's so much pressure for both parties, like for you and Brennan, like not to play devil's advocate, but it is like you're trying to figure out how to process doing every single thing on camera and also try to be in a relationship. Like I know with Clint, I could see myself in a lot of interviews looking visibly like borderline panic attack, like visibly uncomfortable at like the conversations that we were having to have because I just kind of wanted to like disappear and leave. I was like, I don't want to have this conversation. So it's such a pressure cooker for anyone, you know?
I look at interviews and I'm like, I remember how fucking anxious I was in that chair
Yeah.
answering these questions because I still, like, even when I was alone, he had me in such like a weird little like controlled state where I just didn't know what I could and couldn't say.
Is there anything that you can think of that you specifically did not say because you didn't want to say it in front of him and potentially reap these consequences, or anything that you wish you could provide context on that you might not have during filming?
I don't think so. Like, I literally, like, I was like, tear me down on TV. I don't care. That would be progress. I'm an open book, say whatever. And he just would not say anything, which honestly was more fucking confusing and like hurtful than him just actually saying what the issue was.
So you would have rather him been like, hey, I'm just not attracted to you. I don't like you. I don't want to be with you, versus what he was doing.
Yes. Yes.
Not to be the devil's advocate on my side either. I feel like he did the thing where he was so conscious of how he looked. He didn't want to say those things to you because he knows they're not nice, but that inherently leads someone on. And it's more not nice to do that than to just be open and honest. But that's something we see on the show a lot. People just try to hide their feelings, but there's no hiding it when there's cameras on you 24/7.
I don't feel like viewers pieced it together. Like, we literally, none of us had apartment cams. So the guys really on all of ours were unplugged. Like, that's why our season like doesn't make sense because there's like no behind the scenes footage. So like that's also why I don't think people realized how bad it was. Or like when I tried to explain what these temper tantrums were, it's because he literally was so sneaky and fast but always getting them unplugged. And I was good with him on 24/7 because I'm like, that's part of this.
Yeah.
So I think that also really did us all a disservice, definitely myself. So that didn't really set anyone up for success, the producers either. So that I think is something that wasn't really like explicitly figured out by the audience. Like, I feel like people don't piece together that there's like no apartment cam footage really for any of us.
It's interesting you say that we didn't realize how bad it was, because as viewers, the whole, not just you guys, but the whole season seemed pretty bad in terms of couples not agreeing on things and not getting along. So not having that extra footage, of course, missed out on context. Like, we would watch an episode and you would see a complete switch. Yeah, it didn't make sense. Or we would see, honestly, your season more than anyone, the after party was more informative than the show, because every single episode, everyone would say things and we're like, oh, we didn't see that. We didn't see that. We didn't see that. So of course we didn't see it, but it was still pretty bad on its own.
Brennan also, I feel like, said something in the reunion that everyone fucking believed, which was like, we were all in this together. Like, there was one big path that we all decided we're going to fake it for the cameras. I feel like there was no doubling down or like clarifying questions around that at reunion because I didn't agree to shit. I was just trying to save and work on a marriage. I wasn't strategizing, plotting. Like, I didn't think about any interview or any expert visit as like a trap. I literally was just going through it how you should and always staying like true to me. And that just was never the case. So when people are like, oh, everyone was in it from the beginning, I'm like, how did everyone just believe him at reunion? Like that was that. No one asked any questions, kind of like us included, to kind of like let that narrative slide. But no, we were not in any agreement to just play for the cameras. Why the fuck would we do that?
Yeah, it feels like everyone, I mean, from a viewer watching y'all season, it kind of just feels like most of the couples, if not all of them, were just like, let's just get through the 8 weeks. We got to be on camera, so let's just do it. Like at that point, you know?
Yeah, I don't think any of the guys were like ever in it, no matter who they got matched with, honestly. Like, I just don't think they were ready for a commitment like marriage.
It also sounds like Brennan just kind of like ruined the experience because it's like he kind of overthought the whole process in his head. Like how you said, he watched the show and just tried to think of it as a show versus coming in and actually genuinely getting to know you. Like, had he really came in with the open mind?
I just feel like everyone kind of was in their head about production, like literally
Yeah.
everyone but me. Like, I was just like, give zero fucks. And I was like, that's how you're supposed to do it.
Yeah.
I was like, can we just go through the motions, aka like go through life and just do everything the way we're supposed to and like not think about what the fuck production's angle is. I'm like, my brain never goes there.
You won't be able to focus on the relationships if you're focused on production. Yeah.
I'm like, you sign up for a TV show.
Are you not friends with the girls anymore? Do you still see them or what's going on there?
So what's going on there?
I don't know. Listen, we're on a podcast. We don't know.
No, I don't.
This is the update.
There's just so many crazy pieces to my chaotic stint in Denver. Basically, I think now looking back that I've moved back to Chicago, I don't think Denver was ever right for me. Like, I think immediately moving there and breaking my foot was like the sign from the universe. Like, this ain't it. I think immediately in our relationship, the universe gave me many signs, my hair extensions, my fucking wrists. I just lost my train of thought.
The girls. Are you talking to the girls? Have you spoken to Brennan at all?
Yeah, no, Brennan, I said, don't contact me unless it's our lawyers. And I'll get into like what he tried to pull with our divorce and everything and how that turned into a whole fiasco. So basically, I don't think Denver was for me. I mean, everything did happen for a reason. Like, everything needed to go the way that it went for me to be in this space and like be on the path that I'm on from like a personal growth development perspective. And I think it was hard because I lost a lot of friends from the show. So like now these girls that are trauma bonded with me and that like we're all together, like these are what good friends are. So I went from like black and white, I think. I would say I like came in behind the girls like with therapy. And I feel like there was always something wrong for people to like take care of me. And I think like once I started healing physically and mentally, and there like wasn't that, things like started to shift with the girls. And things started to shift with the girls when it aired, basically. If I could like sum it up, they had a problem with like me just speaking out or like popping off on Instagram. Like Becca would tell me what I can and can't post. And I'm like, this is giving Brennan vibes. Like, I'm gonna fucking post what I want. And it felt like when things were going south from viewers' perspectives around how they were perceiving me, it felt like they then were like embarrassed of like I was bringing us down collectively, if that makes sense. And it just was like always shitting on Emily. And I just got to a point where like I just had a gut feeling too. I was like, these are just starting to feel kind of like toxic. And I lived next to Becca. We shared a wall.
And you were going to therapy with her, right?
Yeah, like we were literally like a fighting married couple. We like shared my dog. We're in couples therapy. And like I started getting to the point, I'm like, I just feel like friendship shouldn't be this hard. And like I shouldn't feel so shitty about myself all the time. Like I'm such a girl's girl and I'll always believe the girl's side and like always have my girls' backs. And I also felt like when the few times came for them to like show up for me, it just like wasn't reciprocated.
So do you talk to anyone from your cast at all?
No. Everyone's like, what happened? I didn't even know what was happening, but like I just started feeling like they wanted me like to be the villain in whatever story they had in their heads, basically. And so the universe basically like didn't let me stay in Denver. When I didn't think it'd get worse, like kind of ended things with the girls, quit my job. Lou and I got evicted out of our place. And then that's where I'm like, I'm literally gonna get the fuck out of Denver.
When did you move back to Chicago?
I at least started, is it February 1st? February 1st.
Oh, so recently, like a few months ago?
Yeah, like, oh my God. I had no intention of moving. My landlord's a psychopath. He like randomly kicked us out. So I had to make the decision like, do I move out of Denver or move in Denver? And I think I like knew it was time to go. But it literally is like the best thing that could have ever happened because now that I'm here, I'm like, holy fuck, if I would have stayed, I would have like I knew it. I was like, I'm never gonna get it together. Like it was like depressing.
So is Chicago kind of like a fresh start for you? You're feeling out of that toxic environment, ready to take on whatever's meant for you in this new season?
Yeah.
Yeah, where is she now?
The eviction was like, okay, like it's time to go. And my family's like, use the word fresh start. We want you to get a fresh start. Leaving my job of 10 years was like a huge toxic lift for me. And I was like, I just, for once in my life, want to focus on me. I just like knew I was in a darker place than I needed to or that I should have been in. So like, I want to go to Chicago with my dog, be back in the city where I can meet people. Like, I need to be social again. Like, I need to start going out. Denver is not the best spot, I feel like, to acclimate back into society. But yeah, Chicago was like, it's time to like get myself back in shape, work out. I'm like, the bitch just needs to come back. 3.0 edition.
It's like rock bottom over there.
Oh, I think I hit like rock.
Do you hang out with the girls from season 18, the Chicago girls?
Yes. Michelle and I were supposed to like have a little dinner date a couple weeks ago. And then it ended up being me, her, and us three, and Brandon. So I got to meet them all together.
Fun.
That's good.
Madison and I had a really fucking fun, wild Tuesday night, like 2 Tuesdays ago. Her and I like got dinner, caught up, and like did the whole exchanging of lives story, like get to know each other. I already kind of knew Madison reminded me of myself, and we're like tails all the time. It's a Tuesday, like we'll only go for 2 drinks, and then ended up out in the clubs until it closed. And then David met us out, so I got to meet him. And I always appreciate people who like make an effort to try and do stuff. So I would say Madison and I have like we're just like very similar. But Michelle and I live very close to each other. We go to the same workout studio.
Oh, nice.
She's definitely like a 6 a.m.er like you guys. So our class schedules don't really interlap. But yeah, I'm hoping that we're gonna start hanging out more. They have boat friends, and I'm like, cool, sign me
Those are
up.
the best kind of friends in Chicago in
Yeah.
summer.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's really great that you were able to move and reset your life and, connect with other people from maths. But as far as the divorce, I know you said something kind of went crazy with the divorce with him. How did that go?
Give us the cliff notes.
Give us the cliff notes.
Okay, so my divorce ended up being like $10,000, which was like so annoying. But I did take the petty way because we technically could have had an annulment. It's different state by state. You guys know that. And that's why I think we didn't have sex. Because I think the not consummating the marriage part was the one bullet point that we had to like qualify for annulment.
But how can they prove that? That's just wild to me.
Yeah.
Well, that's my first question to my lawyer. And this is where I'm like, this guy was still full of shit the whole time. Like, divorce is not an option. Okay, but like, you definitely like knew the out was annulment. I think he literally filed the second we could. And long story short, basically, it's like, you need to find an attorney or we're filing without you. So you have like 48 hours to like get representation or don't.
Well, did you have to have a lawyer? Because Clint and I shared our own lawyer.
There was just nothing like civil about doing anything together.
Oh, okay.
And he's such a stickler and stingy person about money too, that I also know he was like wanted to make sure he got his half to the cent. So my ATV lawyer luckily got me connected to a pricey good lawyer pretty quickly, and she ended up being all of our lawyers. He told all of America divorce is not an option. It's the only option he gave us. And his parents meant it. Like, this is your only marriage. And I was like, I want this on his fucking record. I'm sorry. I'm going to be petty. I was still like kind of angry at the time. And so when he's pulling with the annulment thing, I asked the same question as you, Nicole, like how everyone's feedback to me when I was getting ready for the divorce is like, how do you prove you didn't consummate the marriage? So that I asked that first question. She's like, well, Emily, there was a doctor's note. I'm like, what is this doctor's note? He's like, well, we're going to find out. I'm going to ask the lawyer to see it, to see like what qualified us for this annulment. And it literally was like probably some random friend of his who's a doctor that wrote this one sentence incorrectly dated.
But the note said that you didn't have sex.
It said he had erectile dysfunction from anxiety.
I mean, you have to really be committed to an annulment.
It was like a one sentence, like literally, I was like, Joe Schmo, your fucking LinkedIn. I like Googled the doctor. I'm like, this is definitely your fucking college buddy. Writing this one sentence email, he dated the letter wrong, which basically took him out of actually qualifying for an annulment.
So, did we get a divorce or an annulment?
Divorce. Did I need to be petty and spend 10K? No.
Yeah, what was the 10,000? Was that what you spent on lawyers?
Yeah. And they were back and forth.
Oh yeah, they're like $4.25 an hour. So that's a lot of hours.
Oh, my retainer fee was like $5,000. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, you paid that right up front.
He's just a difficult motherfucker. Like, it was never easy.
So do you feel like you moved past him with all the emotion?
Oh, yeah.
You think so? You seem very still like anxious and very traumatized by it, which is totally understandable. But do you think that you're fully over it? Because I personally don't think so, but I also am not in your brain.
I have more anger, I think, for like what happened to me and like the whole situation, like just outside of us, just everything that kind of transpired. I'm still angry about, but no, like I can't believe I fucking cried over this guy. Like I feel nothing for him, nothing. Even like watching the girls now back is like kind of surreal. I'm like, I think maybe you were the toxic one now that I know what been like with my relationships with them. So yeah, I don't know. I just feel like I'm really like on a good path and this will be in
That's
our lives
good.
forever, but like definitely it's not going to define me and it's not at all consuming like it once was. Like I'm actually feel like I'm healing now
Good.
in a different way, like really working on who the fuck I am, like what do I want to do with my life. I have this nice grateful opportunity to just like finally chill for a minute. So it was just like one thing after another and even though I was on medical leave, it was like every wave of healing was just different and definitely way more negative emotions and depression, anxiety. Staying in that bubble was not helping either at all.
It's good that you're healing and it's good that you notice what you needed for yourself. And it's good that you do have your mom and your family there to support you, to help you, get back on a new version of yourself. So where do you feel like you want to go personally? Like, what do you feel like your next level of life is?
Yeah, I'm in like a weird, grateful, exciting place, but like a pivotal point. I really do feel like I'm figuring myself out kind of for the first time. Like, what does really make me happy? Like, I was in the same job for a decade and I don't know, I like want to do something because I really should have died on that ATV. It sounds like dramatic, but like I know I'm meant to be here and like, I think I have a higher, bigger purpose. I just don't know what that is. That's what I'm trying to figure out. And I think it kind of is starting with like, okay, how do I blend what I like to do with creating content and fashion and some like the fun things that came with the show with being super good at sales? Like, how do I find an intersection point of a job that would just be more fulfilling, I guess? So I'm like honestly trying to figure that out. And it's exciting, but it's so white canvas. It's like kind of hard to know like where to start. But I'm such a firm believer in the universe and trusting the process that I've already kind of seen it happen. I have a plan in my head, and I think I just need things to like transpire as they happen. And after all I've been through, I'm just like, fuck it. I can take anything, handle anything. I'm like definitely done and have hit my limit.
Seriously.
I feel like anyone that goes on the show, if we married a stranger, went through all that we did, I think you can kind of do anything. And I just always remind myself I'm so grateful that like I have a family that has helped me getting kicked out, losing your job, having to furnish an apartment with my child. It could be just so much worse.
Her dog, everyone.
Yeah, my dog.
Listeners are going to be like, we missed that part of the show.
I'm just trying to be grateful and just continue to release control because that's one thing the show taught me to do. And I'm just ride the wave. It's all going to unfold. And I like feel for once I actually see all the hell that happened turning into light and like things are coming together slowly but surely.
I love that.
I did too.
Brennan aside, relationship aside, what did the show personally teach you that you're going to bring into your next romantic relationship, friendships? What is one of your best learning lessons you got from the process?
For where I was in my life, I just feel like every traumatic event, every person I met, like everything that has transpired with the show gave me a lot of lessons that I don't think I would have been able to get and get to this place. When people are like, do you regret doing it? I'm like, no, like I get scared thinking about where I'd be if I didn't do it. every broken bone needed to happen. Like there wasn't like one lesson. It was just every little lesson that came along with it. But I think releasing control was a huge thing, and like learning just a lot in therapy after the fact, and like connecting a lot of my childhood trauma, ironically, to what Brennan was, which was a wild thing the universe did to me. But I feel like without Brennan and this experience, I just wouldn't have unlocked so much personal development and growth.
Oh, wow.
So like I'm just very grateful. What are the chances of marrying a stranger? You get kind of like your dad as your stranger husband. And I'm happy I unlocked all my childhood trauma. I don't know. I just feel like it was a huge 0 to 100 lesson that also is going to set me up for relationships. Like I sadly had to go through it on national television, but I do think as harsh as it was, it's going to set me up better because I know exactly now like what to run away from and what I'm not going to tolerate, and just some like more initial standards and boundaries. I know it's going to help my relationships because I losing a lot of relationships too just made me really look inward and just really cautious of who I'm letting in my life, I guess, from here on out after getting pretty fucking burned through all of this. It really is just taking all the little lessons and continuing to build off that. It's still definitely up and down for sure, Nicole. Like I'm not
Oh,
like
yeah.
fucking not anxious. Well, actually, my anxiety is so much in check. I did get medicated, which helped a lot.
There you go.
Even watching the show, I'm like, I can't believe how bad my anxiety was. Like I just feel like I'm slowly getting back to who I am, whatever that new version is, because I had nothing but good vibes in Chicago when I lived here. And it's figuring out like who the new Emily is 5 years later.
Well, we're excited to see where the new Emily path takes you. And it does sound like, I know you never talk about the show really anymore. So I feel like a lot of it comes up whenever you do talk about it.
I do have anger for sure.
But, that's fair.
I'll always have a little bit of anger.
Eventually, you'll just block it out. I think a lot of, the stuff I know personally that I felt, I'm like, I don't even remember it anymore. So I think your brain just protects you. And eventually you'll just dig it deep down inside where those childhood traumas probably were sitting forever.
Yeah, it feels honestly like it was 10 years ago watching it. I'm just like, it feels so long ago. I'm just like ready to move the fuck on.
It's part of you, but it doesn't define you.
Exactly.
Speaking of moving on, are you dating?
Uh,
That made you nervous?
Yeah.
No, I always, my first question or my first reply to that is just funny. Like, I will run into people and the first question they ask is like, are you dating? And I'm like, I'm sorry. Like, do you see my chaotic fucking life? Like, do you think that is where my priorities are? Hell no. I don't have my own shit together. So no, I'm not prioritizing dating. But Chicago is way better place to get back out there. Like I got more phone numbers the first week at the dog park I moved back than I have like my whole life. And I'm going to like a singles thing on Tuesday that's kind of like put on by Nick from Love is Blind and some therapists who told me that these guys showing up, they go to therapy. So I'm like, you know what? That's all I need to know. I'll be there.
Look at you. There you go.
I mean, like cringe. I don't want to do it, but like I know it's just need to do it just to get back out there. And just like I'm in the place for friends. Like I'm in the market just to meet people. So it's like that's where I go in mindset wise.
You've married a stranger. You can speed date.
Yeah.
That's a good place to start with some healthy people.
Thank you for being so vulnerable and opening up with us.
Yeah, this is so hard. There's so much to catch up on. Probably could have come with bullet points, get through them all, but there's so much that goes in between everything. So sorry if I didn't get into like anything that you were hoping to.
It's so refreshing that you were so honest and vulnerable, because I feel like a lot of what you said, you could have just held back because you didn't want to bring it up again. So I think that's something really unique that our listeners will enjoy. But now that it is out on Netflix, people might have questions. Where can people find you if they want to ask questions, comment, ask for more context, anything?
Find me on Instagram. I'm not a TikTok girl. I don't know if I ever will be, but getting ready for Netflix, I tried to condense everything on my Instagram. You can find all my sites and stuff in my bio on my link tree. And going back to like passion being fashion, also links to everything I wore are in my LTK and my shop my that is all set for people chronologically as they go down the journey again. And that's kind of like where I'll be trying to stay present and update as my life transpires here. And like we can move past the mass pictures and you guys can hopefully keep up with more exciting new fun life updates.
Anything you want to share with our listeners before you go? Any last words?
Oh, I feel like I should have something,
You don't have to. You don't
a
have
good
to.
one-liner.
I don't want to pressure you. Some people just want to be like, wait, I forgot that you needed to know this, but it's fine.
Like, go follow me on LTK. Actually, yeah, go follow me on LTK. And if people haven't seen our season, just buckle up for a little bit of a traumatic ride. People are like, we're so excited to watch it. I'm like, don't be. It's like really not funny. It's like kind of depressing. But yeah, just sending good vibes in the universe for all of us.
There we
We're
go.
sending you the good vibes. And thank you, everyone, for listening to this very special episode of D-List Diaries. Please reach out to us if you have any questions. Reach out to Emily, tell her how strong she is, and we will talk to you next week. Bye, everyone. Bye, Emily. Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.